good to have the opportunity to talk about Sun Summit Minerals and our new high-grade discovery at the Buck property. So here's some cautionary notes about forward-looking statements, and I also want to make note that a longer version of this presentation will be available on our website, sunsummitminerals.com. So to quickly go over some highlights about our company, first of all, as Eric mentioned, we have a significant high-grade discovery in a previously untested area at our flagship Buck property in central BC. So some of these grades had never been seen on the property before, so it's very exciting. The project's easily accessible by road. We can drive right to site. We can drill year-round. The company is well-financed. We're fully funded for the next phase of drilling, which we're hoping to start this month. As well, we have a very strong technical team and a very strong management team with a track record of success. So to go over the location of the Buck property, it's just south of the town of Houston, BC. So it's about an hour drive from Smithers. It's located right near major infrastructure. You can see the Yellowhead Highway is just north of site there. As well, we can drive right to site via all-weather access roads and forest service roads. So there's year-round exploration, no need for helicopters. The Buck project is located within a recently expanded 33,000 hectare tenure package. It's close to many formerly producing mines, such as Equity Silver, Huckleberry, as well as some active exploration projects. So for example, Silver Queen, Fenton, and Poplar. In addition, we're fully permitted for exploration. So we have a 5-year multi-year area-based permit, which was granted at the beginning of 2020. So we're fully funded or fully permitted for additional drill pads, as well as trail building and that. So here's a zoom of the Buck property itself. So Buck, it's a large altered breccia system. There's widespread near-surface gold and silver mineralization. The host rocks are hydrothermal and magmatic breccias, as well as more permeable volcaniclastic rocks. Most of the historic drilling on the property has been done in what we're calling the horseshoe and trench zones. However, for our most recent phase of drilling, we focused mostly on the horseshoe zone and the Buck North zone, which is a new exploration target identified through geochemical sampling this past summer. So to go over the drill program, we drilled it last year from about September to November. We drilled just over 4,000 meters for 10 drill holes. So some of them are pretty deep holes. You can see on the map, it's the green collars there. So you can see it's focused mostly in the horseshoe zone, as well as some step out drilling towards Buck North. So also you can see on this map, we have some structures identified. So through our structural and geologic mapping this past summer, we identified what we're calling the Buck Structural Corridor. It's a series of west-northwest trending structures and fracture zones. It cuts across the mineralization that, looking at the scale, it's about 300 meters across, we're thinking at this point, steeply dipping to the north. And it's thought that these structures are high-level controls on mineralization. So it's thought that hydrothermal fluids have gone through these structures, and it's where we see some of the highest grades at Buck is associated with faults and structures. However, we also have mineralization present disseminated throughout some of the more permeable rocks, and that's what gives Buck such a large surface footprint. In addition to the structural corridor, we also identified a series of north-south trending faults. This was through analysis of the surface geochemistry this past summer. It actually appears that some of the mineralization is actually offset by these faults and fault zones. You can see almost a downdropping of mineralization as you go to the west. We see this as well in the IP data, which we did mention in last fall when we had the initial analysis done there. As well as the soil geochemistry, as I mentioned. Our team is finalizing the integration of the IP with a lot of the downhole data. So we'll have an update for you shortly about how the IP and structure plays a part in the mineralization at Buck. However, the key takeaways of the recent drill program is a significant high-grade discovery in a previously untested area, and that would be hole 12. If you see on the map there, it's drilled in the horseshoe zone, and it's drilled away into the depths of the trench zone. So hole 12 is highlighted here. It's really a discovery hole, as it's drilled into an untested area beneath the trench zone. There's quite a bit you can see of historical drilling at trench. However, they're very shallow. The holes only reach depths of about 100 meters. So it really was a new area with very little to no information. And I just want to mention that these types of grades have not been seen at Buck before. So it proves that significant intercepts of high-grade gold is present on the property. If you look at the top of the hole, we have 40 meters, just over 40 meters of 1.03 gram per ton gold equivalent, 17 meters of 5.86 gram per ton gold, including 3 meters of 23 gram per ton gold equivalent. We have 7.5 meters of 10.9 gram per ton gold, including 1.5 meters of close to 50 gram per ton gold. As well, at the base, we have just over 12 meters of a gram per ton gold. So these are pretty significant grades and great news for us at Buck. If you look at the cross section there, I'll just flip to a section of the area. So the pink outline is our interpretized mineralized envelope. It's based on the structural fabric seen through our mapping as well as through the drill core. As I mentioned, most of the historic drilling has been done in the horseshoe zone, and you can see several holes on the section here, as well as a few drilled in 2020. So the horseshoe zone is characterized by a lot of near surface mineralization. So what we're calling Buck style mineralization. So these long intercepts of continuous grades. So we're thinking 50 to 100 meters of 0.5 to a gram per ton gold. Those are the kinds of grades that we were seeing in some of this permeable rocks. If you look at the top of hole 12, just in the horseshoe zone, we have 40 meters of just over a gram per ton gold equivalent. As well, in hole 6, you see 46 meters of 1.12 gram per ton gold equivalent. So some really great grades near surface, within 50 to 100 meters of the surface. So these are some great grades we're seeing. Also, I just want to mention in this area, we identified what we can call a new style of alteration or mineralization. So it's a sphalerite-rich mosaic breccia. So it's full of sulfides, very zinc-rich. And our geologists are going to spend time relogging some of these holes, photographing them. The system is very complex. And so we've had multiple phases of mineralization, a lot of fluids running through the system. And so we're still fine-tuning the controls on mineralization. Of course, the star of the story is our discovery hole 12. You can see it is drilled into an area just south of the known mineralization at the trench zone. The trench zone holes are very shallow, as you can see. And so this discovery of a new high-grade zone at Buck is really a game changer. Hole 12 intersected multiple zones of gold mineralization. You can see just at the bottom of hole 12, it intersected just over 12 meters of a gram per ton gold equivalent. The hole ended in mineralization, so it's wide open at depth. Also, this corresponds to a pretty significant IP target that our team is currently modeling. It's not just a coincidence that we were able to get such good results in this area. We expect our team to complete the integration of the IP data with the downhole data soon. So we'll have news out probably within the next week or so. So it's a really exciting time for us as we have obtained some high-grade data in an area that we previously had little information. So in terms of next steps, we'll be mobilizing crews back to Houston next week. We're hoping to be drilling by the end of the month. We're also starting a drone-based magnetic survey. The area is quite structurally complex, and so hopefully this will help fine-tune some of the structures and as well some of the dikes that are coming through the system. Some of the new mineralization is pretty hard to see, and so the geologists will be relogging some of those sections and photographing them. The new drill program will be testing some of these new high-grade targets as well as the geophysical targets. As I mentioned, the team is still integrating some of this IP data with the structural data. We're going to be refining the geological model as well as finalizing new drill targets. So expect additional information about the new phase of drilling to be released shortly once we have a better handle on how the structure and the IP plays a part in the system. So Sun Summit Minerals, exciting new high-grade discovery, grades never before seen at the Buck property. We're going to start drilling again shortly, start with one rig and potentially go up to 2. We are fully financed for the exploration, the ongoing exploration, including the upcoming drilling. We have about $3 million in the bank currently, with more money coming in through warrant exercise. Our market cap's about 23 million at the moment. Yeah, so we're excited to get started, and stay tuned for more news.